Alright, says we're live. Hi everybody and welcome back. I'm Tristan and today we're going to be playing around with some new AI toys and gadgets and funness, and I'm super excited about this because it's really cool. So what we're going to be looking at today is the new high-level funnel builder. It's called AI Studio, and it's kind of like a clone of Lovable or like Replit or kind of tools like that if you've messed around with those as far as like building websites with AI. And so we have an account here. We're actually going to be doing a sales funnel, or I guess more like a lead capture funnel, for a local property listing for a house that's like $3 million. So we're going to build this funnel and see what we can do. So this is the actual listing. These are the real estate agents that, or brokers, I guess, that are in charge of it, and they've asked us to take a crack at this and see what we can do. So we got this set up. This is under their high level account, or like a sub account we got set up for this. And then we're going to be using my tool here to create the content for it. So we're going to run through this pretty quick. I'm actually pretty excited about this. We've done a couple little tests just to kind of get a feel for the flow, and I've been really impressed with it so far. So the idea here is we're going to start out kind of treating it almost like a little tutorial. I'm going to show you how to get everything set up. Then while that's going, I'm going to have the system generating the content for the funnel for us, and then we're actually going to build the funnel. So let's go ahead and get started with that. First thing we're going to need is all of this information here. So this is just everything about the property, all that fun stuff. I'll just grab all of that, and we're going to start off with the funnel part. So if you're not familiar with this, go watch my last video where I showed how to use AI to generate your funnels for you. Fast, easy, and simple. So kind of got to get started on this first. We'll tell that to run, and then actually we'll just do this. I'll have the two screens going. No, just the two. That way we can kind of keep an eye on this and make sure that it's running the way it's supposed to. Cool. So probably first thing you guys are going to want to see is how to actually set this up. So from your dashboard, go to settings. Then you're going to want to go down to labs, and then just search for AI Studio. This is what you're looking for. Turn it on by clicking this. And then when you go over here to your main page again, you're going to see it pop up right here, AI Studio Beta. If you click on that, this will bring it up. So this is how you actually get to the build section of this. So go ahead and bring this back over here so I can kind of keep an eye on both of them. All right, so here's our offer. Just all the information about the property and everything. That's great. I actually already have an audience for this, so we're just going to get that again. I think it's saved under Orem. Where did I save this? It's in here somewhere. I'll just use this one. So that's the audience. Let that go through and do its quick analysis. And then what we're trying to do is we just need to get the content for this thing first, right? Because like you can't just go and say, hey, build me a funnel. But you're going to kind of get the same results you'd get on any other sort of funnel builder, right? They're not always amazing. And sometimes the content's a little off, it's a little goofy, and you got to go through and kind of rebuild the whole thing. Whereas this makes life just a little bit easier. The other thing I'm really wanting to try here and to test is the automation part, to see if we can create like the emails and the follow-up and that kind of stuff. I think that would also be really interesting to see. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Man, there are a bunch of grumpy dogs outside today. Let me close my window. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. Oy. Okay. So we're just kind of waiting for this thing to finish. Now I do have one that I pre-built. We might just use that, because I don't want to spend the whole time sitting in here talking about this. I think it was this one. That's the one. But so this would give us our outline for the funnels. And again, this is a separate tool. If you do want to learn about this, I'm more than happy to sell you access to it. It's pretty darn neat. But this is kind of what we're looking for. Landing page, sales video, private viewing request. That kind of works too. It's kind of a simple one. Let's go with that. Have this thing generate our branding. That looks great. So I'm a super branding expert, right? And then, of course, if you guys do have any questions as we're going through this, like, go ahead and drop them in chat. If you're watching this after the live stream, leave them in the comments. I get all these comments and everything, so I can come in and answer your questions for you. But I do think, like, one of the things I've found as I've been working with these different AI builders is that having good content really is like the key to all this. Like, you can just have really, really kind of garbagey stuff pop up, and it just isn't great. So having something that makes it a little bit easier definitely makes life easier, right? All right, so this is our funnel, our breakdown. This is what we're actually going to feed into AI Studio. But what this does is it gives us the individual steps, the copy for it. It gives us our audience analysis. That's all this right here, right? Our audience analysis and everything else. And then to grab this, we're just going to come over here to export the MD. And we're going to drop this over here. Just name that there. Yeah, that's fine. That's also fine. We can grab all of that. All right, come back to AI Studio. So, let's do, hi. I need your help building a funnel. I swear I can spell. I need help building a funnel. How am I going to phrase this? I need help building a funnel for a real estate listing. I have the content and branding and audience breakdown information for you, which I'd like you to use for the design of the site. There may need to be some modifications to better fit the style of the site. So feel free to adjust where necessary. And I don't want style, I want the design and layout. Here's the content. And then you can give it screenshots and stuff like that if you have like other sites that look good. It, for some reason, doesn't like receiving just the text file with all this information in it, so I have to do it like this. But like if you have reference images, if you have like galleries, that kind of stuff, then you can add that all right here. And I do have some pictures of the property somewhere. Big house pics. These ones. But I have like 127 of these pictures, and I could probably not handle that many. So let's grab just a few. Just kind of like at random. Everybody wants the kitchen, bedroom, fancy bathroom. Let's grab that. Where's the garage? The garage is really cool too. That's a good picture. That's a good picture. Balcony. Where's the garage? That one. All right, and send. And now we're gonna go get a snack, grab something to drink. I am currently enjoying Energy Brain Boosts by Just Ingredients. They're doing all right. Not exactly doctor's orders, but wife's orders to drink these instead of Monsters. And you know, gotta pay attention to the wife. She's always right. So. And again, if you guys do have any questions about this as we're going through it, let me know. That's what the chat's for. That's what the comment section's for. Last time I did one of these, it took 5 minutes. So I'm kind of hoping it's going to be a little bit quicker this time, because just sitting here me talking for 5 minutes is going to be a little bit boring. I'm not that pretty. Not anymore. Go back and look at my old videos when I was skinny. Those were good high quality content. Very high retention rates when I'm a little bit skinnier. Funny how that works. I guess other questions that I can answer about the high level AI Studio. From what I've seen, there isn't any additional pricing for this. This is just something that's included in your subscription, which is also pretty cool. The sites do look pretty good. Like the ones that we've messed around with have been very high quality. Actually, I could probably pull one of those up and show it to you. I can show you the other one that we did. This one. So we're hoping to do something that's a little bit more specific this time, because this was just kind of like a test run. But this is the site that it put together. So it did use some placeholder images, which, I mean, we just have to replace those, not a huge deal. Gallery. This is where you go to actually apply for the for a walkthrough, right? And we kind of have two of these, so we have a schedule tour and apply. I wonder if apply. Oh no, this is to actually make an offer. So we probably don't need apply and make an offer because it's kind of the same thing. So it's just kind of a test run. I want to see what happened with it. So still waiting over here. So like I said, it's good, but it's still not like perfect, right? There's still always going to be some little things you have to go through and test and tweak and optimize, but that's kind of going to be the case with anything. Then again, if you click request a tour, it's going to take you back over here to the application page. Like I said, it's all right, but what is cool about this is that it built this in 5 minutes, and so then after that, like, it's just a question of coming through and then tweaking and optimizing and making those little changes that you need. What's going on here? Why is my thing telling me I have messages? Oh, that, okay, not a big deal. So are we done yet? Oh, cool, we're done. So let's take a look at this. So it used our select your calendar connection. That's actually good. So we can do some of the automation stuff. I'm not sure which calendar they want to use, so we'll hold off on that. The project includes 3 steps: the landing page, the VSL, the video sales letter, and then also the private viewing scheduling page. So that's all in. And then it's also prepared the app for the calendar integration. So yeah, it should be able to plug right into that. That's good to know. So let's kind of look through the site here. So we have where luxury meets the mountains. Your Orem sanctuary awaits. This is Orem, Utah, of course. Mountains are everywhere. So it's not bad. I kind of like to see more stuff here on the home page. But let's take a look. Let's go to the next one. Alright, that looks fine. Here's your property highlights. I kind of feel like more of the property highlights should have been on that home page, though. Let's move the property highlights and some of the pictures to the landing page. We need to really wow the viewer and the visitor. The visitor and display the elegance of the property right away. But I did stick with the colors that we gave it. That's good. So I think like all of this would have been better on the home page, and then just have this page just be dedicated to the video. That was probably something that popped into my system on the funnel side. And we also need to fix some coloring over here too. Can we go back? Cool, so we can go back and see the home page. Go. There it goes. So I'll just have to go through and make those little edits. Now, I thought that there was a way to like edit individual elements, but I'm not seeing that. also kind of curious. There have been a lot of questions about, like, yeah, so they're just like React and stuff. So there are some SEO things that you need to have in mind when you're building these sites because it needs to go out as HTML typically, or you have to have some sort of rendering set up so that way it's easier for Google to actually read the sites. So that's one thing you want to keep in mind. I don't have a set process in place for that quite yet, but I have a few colleagues who have been working on it, so I'll probably just go ahead and snag those and then kind of mess around with that. Take a look at the preview real quick. Or I guess it's still running. Oh, this is the preview. So when this is finished and we're ready to actually publish it, then we just click the big publish button, right? The other question people have been asking is whether or not this is just a clone of Lovable, which I have always been curious about. Like if it's like a white label version of it or something. And I don't know if that is or not. It'd be interesting to find out. Alright, I'll mess with that. So let's finish these updates real quick, and then we'll publish it, and then that way we can kind of work through that process. But I'll keep it relatively short and simple here. And again, like this is where you spend a lot of your time when you're doing anything with AI, like kind of the vibe coding stuff. It's just kind of sitting back and waiting for the AI to finish its stuff, and then we're going to go back through and we're going to update things and make the little tweaks again, and just kind of going through that process over and over again. One of the things I am very curious about is whether or not we'll be able to access this through the high-level API, because then that would allow us to plug in other tools, right? Oh, we're done. Cool. Probably highlights it into the home page, so we need to refresh. There we go. That's a little bit better. Schedule the tour. There we go. So let's go ahead and publish this real quick just to kind of give a test run, right? So this gives us the option. What can we do as far as editing? Not really anything. So there's our preview, icon, titles, descriptions. That's great. Let's go ahead and publish. And there we go. We've got a website. So let's test a couple things real quick. Is it possible to send an alert to my email whenever someone schedules showing and viewing? It's Tristan SEO at gmail.com. This is what I'm really excited about to see if this part actually works, because if this thing can actually go in and build like the automations for you, even if they're just like super basic automations, then that would be really awesome, because that just can make life a whole lot easier. Oh yeah, let's connect your calendar, all the bookings sent directly to the CRM. Okay. To clarify, the CRM you're referring to is the, why does it keep refreshing? Is referring to the high level CRM, or do you mean some other external CRM? Because that's the question, right? We want to see what kind of things we can do as far as automating stuff. But again, like, I think most folks don't need anything super complicated. If we can just have it go through and send us the lead information when it comes in, then yeah. The built-in calendar and form integrations connect directly into the high-level CRM. You can set perfect. That's what we wanted to see. That's what we wanted to know. So that's going to make life really easy. So we would have to go through and create a calendar for it. That's fine. But like, the sub-accounts and everything. But this is all set up for this real estate agency anyway, so we don't want to mess with that too much. This is really just kind of experiment to see what would happen. But That is really good news, and that's going to make this thing really cool. So if we can do our, let's try this. How about a follow-up email sequence? Can you build that for us now? The one other drawback that I've seen with this is that um, for uploading large quantities of images, because like with this I have um, okay, so this thing only does, let me finish my thought. For uploading large amounts of images, this only lets you do like 10-ish at a time. So like in the case of this property, we have over 100 images, right? And so we'd have to go through and upload 10 here through the chat. So okay, here's the first 10, here's the next 10, here's the next 10, in order for it to actually use that here as part of the site. I have tried a couple different ways of doing mass uploads. It's like one trick that you can do with some other tool, but it did not work here, was telling it to create like an upload page where we can then take all the images and upload them all at once. Then hopefully have that like connect everything in the back end. I may have needed to prompt that better, but the times where I did try that, it didn't work. So that's kind of a bummer. Is I'd love to have a way to either grab from your high level like image media library would be awesome, because that would just make life a lot easier. Um, but yeah, and then one of the things we were testing real quick is just to see if it could build like the email sequences and like the follow up, and it looks like it can't. It can only do stuff that's like directly connected to the site. So as I focus on building the front of your websites, like the landing pages, UI, and forms, to create the follow-up email sequence, you need to do that directly inside your high-level account using their automation workflows and features. So, um, but this should connect to that. I'm not sure if like automatically is the right word, but it should be able to push to that. We just need to make sure we're making all those connections over here, you know. And then always remember, like the easiest way to kind of get the information or to figure out what that next step needs to be, just ask the AI. Just be like, hey, this is my goal. This is what I'm trying to do. What are the steps that I need to take? How much of the process can you handle? What parts do I need to do? Stuff like that, just to kind of get things up and running. But I do think that this is pretty cool. I just want to see, because again, like the thing that everybody's kind of been worried about is just the like how the site's rendered and everything. So for anything SEO specific, we're probably still going to want to do that pre-render. You can do it through like Cloudflare. There's a few different options for it. But like it looks pretty good. So like, they look pretty. I like the way that they look. So really just kind of like I said, those I guess it's three little gripes. Is one, we need an easier way of adding large quantities of images. Two, it would be awesome if there's a way that we could connect to the other automations already built in the system again, so like your lead follow-ups, your email sequences, all that kind of stuff. That would be awesome. It looks like we do have some limited connection like right now, but I imagine that again, this thing's in beta. It's not going to be like, this isn't the final form, right? And then the other thing we need to be aware of for the SEO specific stuff is just your rendering. Make sure that we get some sort of pre-render set up so that Google can actually read what's happening on the site and not just get like a blank empty thing. For those of you who have been around in the website building game for a long time, you might remember Wix. Long time ago. So I mean, Wix is still around, but they used to have a really big problem with that, with the pre-rendering, where it happened twice actually. Like there was a change in the way that Google would come through and render the sites, and because like right now, like this is kind of what the AI or what Google sees when it gets to the site, right? And there's not a lot of information here, and so we needed to basically set up a way for Google to come in and like get like a preview of the website to actually see what the website looked like, and not just the React part. And that was kind of a pain in the butt back in the day, but we were able to get that. But what happened was Google would come to the site, they basically see like empty, just like style information, right? and then they'd be like, oh, this is an empty website, and then they leave, and then people would just, their websites would get de-indexed, like their sites would just be pulled off of Google because it wasn't able to read the content anymore, right? And so that's kind of what we'd want to avoid, is just that happening again with these websites. And that's honestly, that's one of the biggest issues with all of the like the website builders, is that they always output as React, right? And so it's, we just need to take that extra step in order to make sure that, again, your search engine optimization stuff is actually happening, in the sense that we want the search engine to actually be able to come in and read the content of the site. So, that being said, I have been talking about this now for 27 minutes. If anybody does have any other questions, now is the time to ask them. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and shut this thing down, and I got to go get something to eat because it is lunchtime. But, yeah, like I said, still a couple little, I don't know if concerns are really the right word, but still a couple little things that we'd want to kind of get fixed and tweaked and changed on here in order for this thing to be like absolutely bonkers. But for where we are right now, I think it's pretty cool. I like that it's free. I like free with your subscription, right? It seems to do a pretty good job as far as following instructions and building the sites. It does pretty good for design. Like it looks like a good site. I guess if I had to add a fourth thing, is I would love to have the drag and drop editing abilities like what you have with your normal high level UI, right? So be able to click this and be able to manually change it. That would be awesome. Like move things around and that kind of stuff. That would be great. And like I said, I think some of the other features that we're looking for are going to come over time. So that is what I think. And I haven't seen anything pop up in the chat, so I'm going to assume I've answered all of your questions expertly, which is just the way we do things around here. So last little plug for my tool. If you do want something to help you write the content for these sites, then I have, I don't have a good name for it yet. I don't even have a full domain for it yet, but this is funnel.tristangoodwin.com. I'll leave a link in the comments as soon as the video goes up. But this is what we use to actually write all of the content for the funnels. It does an offer breakdown. You can have it do image previews. This is for the last version that we did, so it's not the one we're looking at right now. But that looks pretty good, and you can, again, take this, give that to the AIs over here, and have it build out the funnel for you, and like follow that design and everything else that you like. And then what this will also do is it gives you all the steps for the funnel with the image attached, and then also even writes your ads for you. And then if you're familiar with my work, I've got a tool called Genti, which is an AI feedback tool. Basically, I cloned a little over 2,000 people with like personality tests and stuff like that, and I can use that to get feedback on stuff. So like we can give it the listing page, we can actually give it this link and say, hey, go take a look at the site, let us know what you think, and have the AIs actually tell us like, this is good, this is bad, this needs to get fixed, all that kind of stuff. And so that's plugged into this as well, so that we're getting like actual feedback from potential buyers. And then the same thing with the ads that it writes down here too. So it's kind of neat. And this thing also does email sequencing, it does your offer analysis, it does ads, does social media posts, and then there's also an AI here that has access to all the data inside of the system, so like all the training and reference material that's been installed into it, as well as any funnels that you've already built. And so that means that it already knows the branding, it already knows the messaging, it already knows the positioning, it already knows the offer, like it has all that information available to it, so that way it can go deeper into those funnels if you need the help. So, and you can send it screenshots of the sites that you're working on and try to get some feedback from that as well. It also has the audience information in here too, before I forget. But yeah, so like I said, this is Funnel Forge, and I'll show you. I try to keep it pretty low cost. Oh, okay, I guess I gotta log out so you can actually see it. Take me back home. So it's built a bunch of sites for us, but that's your pricing. And then if you want us to build the funnels for you, then that's what you're looking for right there. So now that I have sold myself over here and talking about this thing, then so I'll leave a link to this in the description and the pinned comment if you guys want to check it out. But that is Go High Level AI Studio I think it's pretty solid. I think it's going to be a really good tool. I think it's one that still needs to get some development built into it. I think it still has a little ways to go. But as far as like an entry level AI website builder, funnel builder, I think it's pretty solid. And like I said, it's going to be something that a lot of people are going to have access to. So we're probably going to see this thing evolve quite a lot over the next few months. But yeah, that's my thoughts. And I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Have your all